Let me say this up front. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a leadership problem inside their own finances. We even know that most people rarely think about how to direct it, how to protect it, and how to transform it. And that's exactly why wealth starts and stops with the same generation. Today's conversation is not about budgets and it's not about stocks. It is not about quick wins. No, this is not one of those get rich quick scheme conversations. This is about thinking like the 1%, operating as the CEO of your family's financial legacy. I mean, when I say family, generations. And understanding a model the ultra wealthy have always used quietly for decades. I am speaking and I'm talking about the virtual family office.
Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the best growth mindset podcast recognized by Million Podcasts and ranked as a top mindset podcast by FeedSpot. We're proud to be in the top 1% on Listen Notes. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte as we explore powerful insights and strategies to elevate your mindset. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Mindset Mastery Moments, the show where we don't just talk about motivation, we talk mastery. I'm your host, Dr. Alisa, the #1 mindset disruptor. The podcast is designed for leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, and legacy builders who are done playing small with their thinking and their future. Now, let me frame today's episode properly. You got a hint of it. If you're a first-generation wealth creator, if you're building a business, managing a household, or scaling income faster than your financial systems, if you've ever felt like you're only holding everything together, maybe with crazy glue, this episode is absolutely for you. Because the truth is, most people are running their finances like they're employees. I feel like I do. I was just having a conversation about this. When what they should actually be doing is to be the family CEO. And that's why today's guest is such a powerful fit for this platform and, most importantly, this very timely and important conversation. Let me introduce you all to Miss LaVaisha Davis. LaVaisha is a wealth manager at EII West Advisors and a nationally respected voice on the concept that is quietly revolutionizing how wealth is built and preserved. Virtually family offices, or VFOs. She's not here to sell financial products. Surprise, surprise. She's here to re-educate leaders on how wealth actually works. With over 10 years of experience, LaVaisha specializes in helping families and entrepreneurs identify what she calls leaky wealth buckets. God, I can't wait. Places where money is silently lost through taxes, misalignment, poor coordination, and outdated advice. She teaches her clients to stop outsourcing leadership over their money and start operating like the family CEO of their financial legacy. Her work integrates faith, family, strategy, and structure. And she's been featured on platforms like the Inside Vault with Ash Cash, Amplify You, and Financially Intentional because she brings clarity where most people feel overwhelmed. LaVaisha, listen, sister, we already had a little cut up in the back, ready to bring you out and unleash to Mindset Mastery Moments. We are honored to have you here in your own words. Just tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Thank you, Dr. Alisa. I could not have asked for a greater introduction, first and foremost. So I really appreciate the work that you put in getting to know the mission. So that I just want to start with that gratitude. But for
Thank
those
you.
listening and the first time hearing this conversation, I am LaVaisha Davis. I'm a private wealth advisor, certified exit planning advisor, and leading director for virtual family offices here at L West Advisors, which is a wealth management firm specialized and conformed to serve first generation wealth creators, either as founders and entrepreneurs, or even the first in your family to earn high six figures in income. And our primary mission is help you convert that income or that opportunity into true long lasting wealth. So I'm excited about the conversation to make the connection of how to go from high earner to wealth preserver.
This conversation is for me, so I will be your muse and your student, right? So let's start right here because this is a mindset show, of course. You talk a lot about becoming the family CEO, and I love that language. Most people don't see themselves that way. They see themselves as earners, spenders, survivors, providers, all the things, all the labels. So let me ask you this. What shifts when someone stops managing money emotionally and starts leading it strategically as the family CEO?
It all starts with a mental transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because of trauma or poor relationships with money, we go into even these high income earning opportunities with the mindset that the dollars that we earn today are to be piecemealed for our own personal financial security.
Mm.
That's the first mental transformation. We
Wow.
have it to believe we just need to secure enough to have a confident and comfortable retirement, and we
Mm.
need to ensure we don't become a burden on those that we love. That has been instilled in us, but we haven't been able to take the conversation a step further. If I do have a secure retirement, what if I have leftover assets? Then what?
Mm. Mm.
If I have those leftover assets and I leave them to my children, leaving them assets without a system is automatically setting them up for failure and keeps that philosophy or the mentality of rags to riches back to rags again. So assets
Gee.
without a system is not helpful. And that's the first transformation we have to make is if we have a family or generations beyond us, we have a responsibility both from kingdom as kingdom responsibility to leave our children's an inheritance. And if we're going
Mm.
to do that, instruction. Inheritance without instruction is chaos.
It's chaos. Whoa, right out the gate. Here's what I want listeners to catch. This isn't about ego, it's about governance. Because when there is no CEO, there is chaos.
Exactly.
There's no structure, there is chaos. So let me layer this a little bit more for our audience. Most first generation wealth builders are doing everything right on paper because I've met a lot of people. I'm one of them, right? We're earning more money, we're investing, we have some advisors, we have those wealth advisors, the different ones, not the kind that you are, but the system is fragmented. So,
Absolutely.
LaVaisha, break it down. Why does traditional financial planning fail first generation wealth creators specifically? Because you're making a distinction between first generation wealth creators,
Hmm.
between someone who's been there been generations of wealth. Tell us, you know what? Tell us the difference and
Hmm.
then tell us why traditional financial planning doesn't work for them.
Well, it's actually one and the same, and I'll tell you 2 reasons why traditional
Mm,
plans suffice and what is the biggest challenges. Number 1, when you are having conversations with your advisors or you're managing all these accounts, they are sporadic and isolated and siloed, and your skill set is typically in whatever you pursued your education or your skill development in, right? Unless that was in portfolio management, tax planning, unless that was in estate planning, if those are not your areas of expertise, those conversations that you're actually having start to sound like Charlie Brown. Like, wah, 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 wah. Okay, so there's no centralized place that houses all these decisions and conversations that you're having to be able to visualize the long-term impact of them. How does this really impact my family over a period of time? And when we talk about period of time, that's the second reason why traditional planning won't work because it's too short-sighted. We're talking about
mm,
in traditional planning. But when you review whether you study or closely watch established wealth families, their focus is on continuity. So it's well beyond retirement. So retirement is short term. That's 20 years, maybe 30, while established families are looking 50 to 100 years or
mm,
2 to 3 generations. So because of the wrong time period, it just traditional planning just doesn't cover it, and you have to
mhm,
go further if you want to equip or be able to have a legacy that can out-survive you,
mm,
and that can be hard if you are in your day-to-day functions of life. You're already a parent, a sibling, a child of parents, maybe elderly parents that you're caring for, and you're already running your day-to-day business. If you're a business owner, you're already in that. So your
yes.
wealth business The wealth business goes unserviced. It goes unmonitored until you find the time. And that's where you can find those gaps. That's where money leaks. That's where wealth is lost because nobody's servicing the wealth business, something that we intend to be here beyond our time here.
That's a different mindset. It really is. That's a different mindset. And I feel like the disconnect comes in where people assume more income equals more security. But without structure, that income just moves faster and leaks faster.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the phrase that probably lighten people up right now. And this is why I'm curious when you talk about the virtual family offices, because when people hear family offices, they think that's for billionaires. That's not for me. That's not accessible. Let's demystify this. What is the virtual family office and why is it one of the most misunderstood but powerful wealth frameworks available today?
Absolutely. Well, let's define the traditional family office model. So, yes, they have been reserved for the ultra high net worth for a very long time.
Yes.
There's single family offices where basically the family office is an organized group of specialty professionals in all ranges when it comes to the financial services, whether it's CPAs, tax strategists and advisors, investment bankers or mergers and acquisitions, insurance advisors, risk management advisors, investment advisors, all of these people that's needed to serve the complexities of wealth, rather than outsource them and have individual conversations, they have been employed and placed under one roof to service the financial needs of one family. That's the
Right.
traditional family office or single family office. Now, yes, you need 100 million or more to be able to do that. Then you have something called a multifamily office. So usually if you have about less than 100 million, maybe between that 50 and 100 mark, you don't quite meet the threshold for single. You combine your resources with other ultra high net worth families, and then you employ those same group of organized professionals.
Okay.
Where the virtual family office is now taking great traction is you can have that same setup where you have a group of organized professionals servicing the complexities of your wealth, but instead of them being employed under one roof, one office that you lease whatever you do, now they're working collectively virtually
Mm,
and can significantly reduce the cost. So now those same organized professionals are giving you every bit of their expertise to your financial plan. Because how many entrepreneurs, this is how entrepreneurs typically come to us. They have been in entrepreneurship maybe a long time, maybe 10 years, maybe they're new. Either way, they usually come to us with a bucket of things they've done over the years. I've bought this
mhm.
insurance, invested in this. I got this over here. It's all these decisions that they've made along the way on their own. But
Wow.
now we need to bring professionals in to assess those decisions. Like, where are we? Where did that put us at right now? And now going forward, it's not about isolated decisions, individual
Right.
products. It's a strategy to achieve whatever the ultimate
Whole
goal
system.
is. We know what the long term goal is. Now we break it down into those small incremental steps to fulfill that goal, whether that's
Mhm.
wealth preservation, a specific amount of income, a specific amount of net worth. And you don't have to piece it together anymore. Your wealth advisor, like ourselves, are coordinated with your CPA and accountant. We're talking to your insurance. Advisors. Now, that's that Charlie Brown womp womp womp. You're like, hey, somebody you could talk to who understands that language. And then they're gonna
Yes.
in the language that I can understand. So I can make an informed decision now and I'm no longer winging it. So you go from this
Exactly.
winger mentality to or let me say that more clearer because it sounded crazy coming out. You go from the mentality of winging it to planning it. And that is the powerful shift.
We're in charge. Now you really are a CEO. You're in
Yes.
charge. So what
Yes.
am I here? I'm going to run this back through you. You're saying that most people have a CPA, an attorney, a financial advisor, but they don't have alignment. They're managing specialists who don't talk to each other, which means the client becomes the middleman. And that's why the
Exactly.
want is happening. Without
Yes.
the expertise to a quarterback strategy, man, here's this. So there's a real question. What changes when those professionals are aligned under one strategic vision instead of operating in silos? Because here's the thing, I wish my medical professionals would do that. I mean, I'm sure it's out there, but they're not as many as yet. But it's crazy how you have to go to different people for everything and they don't talk to each other.
Absolutely. And it's the same setup with your financial planning.
Mhm.
They're making recommendations and suggestions to you
Mhm.
without considering the other areas of your wealth that it impacts or consulting with the expertise in that category. So
Right.
I like to use insurance as an example because I started out in insurance. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of these strategic teams. So when we're planning out insurance, it's not what sounds good at the time. Like, oh, I know I need insurance. This person, I spoke to this person. They sound like they can give me what I need right now, and I'm just going to take that. That doesn't suffice. It's like a boardroom setup. I can present this insurance plan, and they will tell me that does not meet our liquidity needs. That does not protect us if somebody was to pass away tomorrow. That's not enough. So there's someone there that has the scope of what we're really trying to achieve, and then they can communicate with the professional that's supposed to establish it or execute it to make sure it clearly does what it needs to do instead of you just getting it and finding out it doesn't do what it needs to
It
do.
doesn't need to. And isn't that the case? That's what usually happens. You don't know what you don't know until now you know that you need it, but it's not there because you didn't know and you weren't
Exactly.
prepared. But that's what you hire specialists for. And many times you're like, how? I entrusted you with this. No, you entrusted me with this part. If you
Ex
wanted all that, you needed this person, is what you get. And then you're like, well, why you didn't tell me? I thought you knew. No, they don't know. That's
You're exactly right. It's exactly right. You just want representation. You want counsel. That's what
yes.
makes wealth successful is the presence of counsel. The absence
Mm,
is it indicates what outcome you're gonna receive. I'm a big believer in biblical principles, and
me
one thing
too.
I say across any platform as one of my favorite proverb scriptures is that where there is no counsel, the people will fail, but in abundance of counsel, there will be victory.
Ooh, yes, that right there. That right there. That is a aha. So the VFO doesn't create wealth, it protects the direction of the wealth, which is a
Absolutely.
totally different matter when you've started creating wealth and you're continuing to having that direction of where you're going with this will determine whether you end up building a legacy for generations or you just have some money for now and you're doing well and then you're gone and then what?
And I would add to that, like that's where our power gets to show its true form because we are working with the wealth creators in the building phase to help avoid those mistakes.
Mm,
Like the traditional model of an asset requirement, like you have to have this amount to receive this type of service.
right.
Everybody can have that because we're entrepreneurs. Most of us our value is within a business. It's
Business.
constant. I
Yes.
didn't put my money elsewhere because I was betting on me. So when that happens, then they reject you because you don't have the assets, where that's not the case, where if now that's what we mean by converting income to wealth.
Yes, I saw that. That was so distinct. Yes. That I
Mhm.
thank you for clarifying that because that really encourages the six figures, six-figure earners, even five figures. I'm not sure what level, but at that point, you're in a space where you can, or you really like maybe you're on the verge of making a big deal on a product or service that's going to bring in a lot of money. You can have this guidance and protection in direction before you even get right there. You can have this. I love this. So let's talk
Absolutely.
marriage, business, and money because most people avoid this conversation, but where real damage happens is marriage, family, money. Because money
Yes.
conflict isn't usually about money, it's about those unexpected and unspoken expectations that are left with undefined roles. Again, it's not digital structure. So, LaVaisha, you work with families directly. What happens when wealth grows faster than communication and structure inside a family?
Absolutely. That is a great point. Most people think the biggest risk to wealth is how they're invested, when the
Mm,
biggest risk to wealth is family dynamics. That destroys wealth quicker than any unexpected tax bill, any bad investment, is when family dynamics don't support the amount of wealth. Because here's what wealth really
mm,
is. It's supposed to help those or the members of the family live prosperously, whatever makes them happy, right?
mhm.
But what it's not supposed to be is a free for all where
Come on.
now we're just creating a bunch of trust fund babies. No, that's why it's important to create the system, the
Yes.
wealth system, because now we get the opportunity to help as much as possible the family dynamic.
Yeah.
But now they understand that this system is not a self-perpetuating system. It doesn't just keep going. It's not going to keep going on its own. It
Own.
can do it based on the contributions from each generation. So each generation has to be a wealth creator.
Yes.
Everybody has to contribute to
Tribute
this
to
system.
the yes.
So it needs to become this multi-generational or intergenerational system where we're working collectively. And of course, trauma and other things that impede on family dynamics will prevent that.
Yes.
So governance roles, turning family members into shareholders and directors and beneficiaries, great ones, is one of the primary responsibilities we have under the family office model, is getting the family in one accord. So one of the questions I ask opening up when we get to that level of the plan, okay, how big is this rug that we've been sweeping stuff under? So we can know how many people we need in here to pull it back.
It doesn't get any more real than that. Because if you're going to build something, you got to understand what's on that foundation, and you may have
Mhm.
to uproot and restructure. Not may have to, you have to restructure that foundation so that when you're doing the build out of the new system, the new building, it's in alignment, because the foundation is what holds everything together. So you have to go there. You have to go there.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here listening to you talk about that, and it came up to me. Tyler Perry has a series called Black Beauty, I think. I don't know if you
Mhm.
saw that. Did you see that? And I'm thinking about
I think like pieces of it.
pieces of it. So I've been watching it, and I think we're still holding off for part 2 of season 2. But there's the two sons they were not investing into what the family, they didn't have that structure that you speak of. So the sons are just living lavishly off of the inheritance that they get. And they're in their 30s or whatever. And it's going downhill. And you can see the family structure fall apart. Now, the father, being older and wiser, sees the destruction, and he decides to cut them out and literally signs over his legacy to a stripper he met. Right? Because even though she was a stripper, she has a mind on her head, and she was trainable and coachable on how to keep building wealth. So
Mm,
what he decided is that my legacy, my family is going to be the holdback of my legacy. I'm almost dead. He think he has cancer or something, but this will go on for generations. So here's the thing. Y'all getting cut out because y'all a threat to this. And
yeah.
sometimes those decisions has to be made. Tell us
Yeah.
a time when you might have had a sit down, and what sort of conflicts and solutions you had to bring to a family that you may be working with on their building.
Well, that's interesting. I need to tune more in to that series.
You
That's number
do.
one.
You're gonna love it, because here's the thing. Based on what I watched, people will see all the dynamics of who's sleeping with who. Okay, obviously, what else is there? That's in everything. But you have to understand, I'm looking at wealthy Black families in this show. Tyler is
Yeah.
presenting a generation, like, it didn't even make 2 generations, it's only 1 generation, because the parents are still alive and they're selling beauty products. I use beauty products. There's so much to investigate.
Mhm.
My mindset as a wealth builder is watching what they're presenting about affluent, wealthy Black people. We need more representation. Obviously, we don't see enough of it. So when they're presenting it, you study the nuances, because in those characters, you can see yourself, you can see dynamic, and you can also see how you can befall your own, you can bring your own demise with your
Mhm.
thinking. So I watch, from a different perspective. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but being the nerd I am, I'm going to watch from that. So I just kind of saw exactly what you're saying. Now that makes sense why he did what he did, because it seems
Mm.
irrational, but it was just going to die. If he leave it with those boys, as soon as he closes his eyes, the whole company is going to be sold out. The products won't be available anymore. It will be destroyed.
Well, I want to make 2 points on that. And I'll start with the second is there are provisions, there's language, there are barriers that you can put in place to prevent that from happening. But again, that comes with planning.
He did it.
Because, and that leads to my first point of,
Yeah.
here's what I want people to understand, that when it comes to your wealth versus what makes you income, these are 2 different systems.
Mm,
What makes you income is in one place. What grows it and preserves it is another place.
mm.
That also create something called two different balance sheets. That's the numerical illustration of your assets and liabilities, right? So on your business, you may have a different balance sheet, but then you have your family balance sheet.
Right.
And there's a different set of assets and liabilities that needs to be planned for. So on the asset side of family balance sheets, while we are only concerned with the financial capital that we're able to earn or accumulate, the family balance sheet accounts for four sources of capital. That's the financial capital, which is actually the last one that we're even concerned with because the other three create the financial capital. So
Mm,
the second piece is human capital. The biggest assets of a family are the members. Human capital, number one. The second part, or I'm sorry, the third one is intellectual capital. Our creative, our IP, all of that, our intellect, our skills, our values, all of that needs to be on it's on our balance sheet. And the
mm.
last one is social capital, especially in the environment that we're in. The platforms like yours, Dr. Alyssa, you're building an amazing amount of social capital that's valuable on your family balance sheet. Now we can grow it, but that does not ignore the liabilities. We have
Naturally.
to address the liabilities, which
Yes.
expand beyond our capacity. That's where we're
Yes.
getting into things that we can't see just yet. That's
Yeah.
spouse selection. That's family behaviors. That's addictive behaviors. That's economic changes, political changes. That is natural disasters, things that could shake the foundation of our wealth. We have to plan for on this balance sheet. So
Wow.
there is when we are talking about long-term wealth, the thing I want people to understand, the approach, if we want to get back in an economic flourishment that we have seen in historical times, we were talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, these type of scenarios, management and planning is no longer a luxury.
Come on.
It's a requirement. So when you talk about that example, conflict is natural, and we bring
Yes.
in specialists depending on how big that rug is. That's why I asked, do we need
You want
we need a therapist? Do we need just a family advisor? What do we need in here? Because if the rug is big enough where it's just so much stuff swept under there, like
yeah.
we bring in specific people. So that's one of our measuring elements. And we just start to bring in the specialist as needed. This doesn't come without investment. I don't want to also mislead. Like these are things that can
Right.
happen without the commitment to investing to it, not just financial resources, but time. You have to
Right.
care this. If you don't care, it's pointless. If planning isn't important to you, if your family's not important to you, if changing the financial trajectory to your family is not important to you, then you can
Right.
benefit from the conversation of just retirement planning. But if you are ready to go above and beyond, the conversation needs to go above and beyond.
And absolutely. Oh my goodness. It's so important for couples and even business partners listening. You dropped like a million bars. I can't wait to see this. I have to sit there like it was class right there because I never even when you said my podcast and some people ask me, "Well, why haven't you gotten remarried yet?" I'm not for
That's
everybody.
Yes, spousal selection because we are going into business together. We are not just a family, we are a family business. And we're in the business of growing in value. All right,
Come
just like the
on.
children need to contribute to the wealth, our partners have to contribute to the
The
wealth.
number one. Or don't even
Absolutely.
bother. And then who you sign up and do business with. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Oh, that'll be great for that. Oh, you just don't do stuff like that. I mean, my instinct tell me I don't have none of the structure you have, but you just made it clear that there's more. And even it's like I'm like, okay, so do you have a class? Because I'm like, girl, I just need to at least start with the class, and then I'll weave my way in as this money flows, and we need to manage. But this is not money management. This is
It's
wealth
not.
creation. So
Yes.
here's the thing. Wealth without governance creates tension. Wealth with clarity creates continuity is what I'm hearing. So let me
Yes.
ask you this. How does the family mindset reduce conflict instead of creating control issues? Because you know that's a thing.
It is.
If you
It
watch
is.
the series, you'll see it like this is I'm starting to think this series is a little bit of what you talk about. Everything that you speak about is exactly what they are doing the opposite of and getting the results they're getting.
Have got to watch that. But it's
Yes, you
human
do.
behavior is human behavior. So when you're building out that council board, It
Mm.
doesn't stop at just the professionals of the financial professionals. Maybe you have a spiritual counselor in there. That is human behavior. We are still subject to sin and the wilderness that comes with this journey. Nobody is
Ego,
immune to it.
right?
Nobody is immune to that. That's what we mean by
Absolutely.
planning. Like, hey, if we have 4 children, we need to be prepared about the law of numbers that everybody might not be on the same page. It's just about building in the barriers or the risk protection because human behavior is natural and everyone has to do their 40 days in the wilderness. That's what my mother used to tell me. Everybody has to do their 40 days in the
In the
wilderness. The
wilderness.
goal is to not die there. We're supposed to make it through the wilderness to the promised land. That's it.
Yes.
So you have to equip your family with those that are in the wilderness. Don't just assume that their no or non-participation means that they're going to stay in the wilderness.
Come
They
on.
just have to do their time there. They'll come around. They'll come
Yeah.
around. I can pledge to that. We're first generation entrepreneurs. And as those that are entrepreneurs know, that is a roller coaster ride. 1 minute you
I
can be
mean,
eating filet mignon. The next day it's ramen noodles. It
now
goes like
listen, sis. I go through it and I let it be. I remember freaking out and being like, how is this possible? God, what? And I'm like, we know how this is gonna go.
okay. And because of that, in our early stages, we've been doing this for over 15 years now, but in those early stages, it was hard to get our families buy-in because the struggle, we were going from pillow to post claiming to be business owners. So you can
Nobody,
imagine what the
nobody.
family was.
They're like, I know. I remember. Listen, my mom. I'm putting you out. She told me she gonna sue me. My mom said, "Are you done now? Are you tired? Are you gonna?"
Mine too.
And I look at her like, why
Like,
you
what
gotta be
is this
such a
stuff?
hater? No, because the woman is looking at me run myself to the ground and not make nothing. Like she can't
Listen,
understand how that made sense to me.
absolutely. So during that time, it was difficult for our family to understand
Hey,
our movements, our mission, what we were doing.
thank God it was the
And
two of
then,
you. You guys believed in each other because
thank the
that beats
Lord.
everything. Doing it on your own is one thing, and people be like, "Yeah, so I ain't got nobody messing with me." Nah, when you find unison in the work, in the building,
Yes,
in purpose, that's why I
yes,
believe your spouse should be a partner in purpose
yes,
first. Forget all the
absolutely.
cuteness and who, you know, that's all nice and good. But if you can't find partnership and purpose when you just starting to smile with some guy or some gal, honey, leave that alone. Just if you leave it alone.
Leave it, leave it. But
Because
all
when
of that,
these times, when ramen noodle times hit,
where you gonna be? Where you gonna be when the
thank
ramen
you.
too? And
He's
that's what
checking
we.
somebody else out. She's like, you taking too long to get to where you're trying to go.
Yes,
Because she never
yes,
was a partner in purpose. She was there for
yes,
what you came up with. But if you meet someone who is a thousandaire, maybe they got $300,000 driving a nice car, got their own house. If they don't have a plan like this one, he is going to come to ramen noodles. So
yes.
I tell them, I say, y'all not even gold digging right.
Exactly what I'm trying to. That's exactly what I mean. I only saw it at that end of the spectrum, so of course the buy-in was not as fruitful at that time. They weren't able to do it until
Right.
they started the fruits of our labor. Then you start to get more buy-in. So when the ramen noodle time came, it's like now I understand that this is
They
a part
trust
of
you.
the journey. So now
Yes.
it's more committed.
Yes.
Seeing what's possible, what's capable. And when you stick to something, I'm seeing you sticking it out, that just gets a different motivation or a different participation.
Right.
And so in that wilderness, when conflict arises, this is first generation. Second generation conflict is completely different because now we're in that entitlement generation. Like now we're like, so that's a different type of
You go
conflict.
see. You gotta watch that show.
I'm
Yes.
going to watch it so I can try to drive home
Yes.
differently. Second generation conflict, and most of it in our experience, what we see is because the second generation doesn't want what the first generation created. I don't want that.
No, they're like, this is old. Like, this is what was happening to who's still putting relaxer in there anyway? Nobody wanted to do that.
That's what, like
But
all of
that's
that.
why you driving that Lamborghini and living off that cliff.
That's why it's important to create the system, because if the wealth,
Yes.
whatever created the wealth business, the underlying assets are just contributing to it. You have to give the flexibility for second generation to come in and create other opportunities to create
Opportunities
wealth.
that align with them and what they're created for.
Exactly. So
Mm,
now they're just system, not the beauty business or not the real estate portfolio or not the manufacturing business. They're not just stepping into that. They're stepping into the wealth system and say, okay, how else can we
and
drive this
that
wealth?
is the thing, I believe, why wealth cuts at a certain generation. Because a lot of generations, like, boy, we had that farm over there. That was a little bitty farm. Now we sold beef all over there. Now, okay,
Yes.
but he don't
Yeah.
want nothing to do with a farm. He likes to play the guitar.
And
So
that's
what
so
you have to, if you have a system, he can systemize his guitar playing.
systemize the guitar playing. Exactly. Exactly. Because now we have the assets to support the system. I have the resources to try to explore what I'm going to do to add to this legacy.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's easier said than done because of human behavior, but it
Yes.
only takes one member of a family to break them out of bondage. One.
Whoa, that's important. That member is you. You listening. That member is you.
It
It
only
only
takes,
takes one. How are they what is the mindset of that one member? What are they how do they think?
is prosperity, wanting more than what meets the eye. Like they're
Mhm.
willing to take risk. They're willing, we call it the cowboy that goes over the hill. They're willing to go see what's over there
Yes. Crazy
instead of
me.
just, no, we need
We
that.
look like we're crazy, but yeah.
So that is the mentality of the family CEO. Like that it was what that's what it is. And you can be that one person. You're not going to be able to do it alone.
Right.
And that's the other shift
But
that we
that's
have
where
to
it
make.
starts. Yeah.
But you are where it starts. Every amount of established wealth started with one person's mind deciding to take their family to the next level. And
Mm,
then they build the system upon that. So don't be overwhelmed by this conversation as we are, jumping with different ways of that how wealth is preserved if you're still in that creation phase. Because the bottom line is this: if you build enough value in something, whether that's you, your skill, whether that's the value of a business, all you need is an exit plan to
mm,
liquidate that value. How
mhm.
do I now convert this to a large sum of money? How can I take my skill and package it up enough where I can make enough money? Or how do I grow enough enterprise value in my business where I can sell it for 100 million and then my family is set and now all we got to do is work our system?
Right.
That's what you have to realize when you take the mentality of family CEO, create value, liquidate that value, bam, you got your family office. And now it's time to work the system, create the system, work the system, educate the next generation on the system. Don't leave anyone out. Plan for the bad apples and keep going because you're in the
Yes.
wilderness and you just got to make it through and keep going.
I'm sitting here just praying over you and thanking God for you. Cause
Thank
you
you.
breaking chains off of me. And I know a bunch of people listening. And I believe it's a perfect time for us to bring the conversation to this point. And if anybody gets offended, God bless you. But
Hmm.
we're going to speak a little bit into specifically Black America right now
Hmm.
in 2025. Today is December 17, 2025. I never date my episodes, but if you're listening to this, you're in a unique economic circumstance across the globe, but let's focus in America. We got some things going on. We don't really know. And I don't really think we ought to concern ourselves overly if we
Hmm.
haven't even started concerning ourselves with the strategy for our own lives, our own families, our own legacy. Like, you cannot ask for something you didn't get clarity on. Oh,
Exactly.
sister, how should that one person that is knows that it's on them to make the change? What should be our mindset and approach? Even if right now we're only making $70,000, $80,000 a year, or maybe even 30. Maybe we're making
Yeah.
$17 an hour, but we know that generational wealth is the call on our life. And we look around and we see it. Maybe there was wealth in your family line like mine, and it was cut off a couple of generations ago. Whatever it is, you still are coming in right now as first. How should they be
Mhm.
thinking? How can we pivot?
Here's what I would encourage, because that can take up an entire episode. But this is what
Yeah,
I
I
would
know.
encourage. I would encourage those who already understand that I'm going to have to be the family CEO. I want you to order, put it in your Amazon cart, put it wherever you need to put it, go to the library, whatever you need to do. I want you to read this book called The Jewish Phenomenon.
Mm,
What this book breaks down is the Jewish community, whether you see them as a religion, as a culture, as a demographic, whatever it can be classified as much. But at the time of the writing, they represented less than 3% of the makeup, or less than three. They made up less than 3% of the entire country.
mm.
However, they held 14% of the wealth.
Whoa,
Small groups. Let me make that correlated to Black America. About 3% of us make over $200,000.
that's a fact.
With that same number equated to the Jewish community, we have those resources as well. When you want
Yes.
to know what your contribution needs to be, read that book,
Mm,
and you to see how we can move further in smaller numbers probably than you can imagine. So when you're thinking of it by yourself, don't think about it by yourself. You are a member of a family. How many people are
yes.
in your family? How many people are in your community, in your church? How many people? And then take that book to them and collaborate and discuss it. And first, just open the conversation. The how is in the book.
Now, sis, we've been reading Think and Grow Rich over and over. How come we never heard about this book?
Because where are you supposed to put the information at when you don't want people to get it?
Lord, in a book.
Yes. So you just have to explore different cultures, different. You
Yes.
got it now. Let's talk about that. We got it
We had
now.
it now. What's going to be your excuse tomorrow?
Yes,
What's going to
exactly.
be you don't have any really. You can make it up if you want to. This is the book I'm reading for my end of
Yes.
year. This
Yes.
is my January book because every
Yes.
year I do Think and Grow Rich. And it's helped. I'm not saying, because everything again is what you're willing to apply. And I
Mhm.
believe the biggest thing you just said to us is community.
Absolutely. And it
So
doesn't have
speaking
to be
to
this large number.
no, and it might not even be your blood. Maybe you're an adopted child. You just got out of foster care. You don't know who your family is. Don't feel, well, I can't be a family CEO. Yes, you can. The family you select. Talk to us. Talk to those people who has those excuses.
You made a great point of how you define family. It does not have to be by blood. It's whoever you have a bond affinity with that you consider yourself to be related to. Whoever
Mm,
you want life with, your
mm,
partner, best friend, people that you've met in your children's lives. I know we have built tremendous relationships from our children's extracurricular activities that have become a part of our community, your church, whoever you build with. I like to use LeBron James as an example because
mhm,
what he has done is he understands that he's the CEO and he's going out making things happen, and he put people in position that he is building with. Those were his friends, his teammates. They weren't his siblings, his nephews, or his siblings. They weren't that. So you build that bond affinity with whoever you choose to build with. Just build together, do life together, go through the wilderness together. And I'm going, I don't know what ending is. So if whenever you want to put this in, but I encourage it with the ending. While we're in the wilderness, while we're trying to build our wealth, you're going to be subject to two storms.
mm,
Every time they repeat themselves, but there's two storms. The first storm is for correction. You're going to have hard lessons. You're going to make mistakes. They're going to hurt. You're going to get bruised. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get rained on. You're going to be in a hurricane. It's going to happen. That's for you to learn. That's to be corrected.
mm.
The second storm is for perfection. This is for you to perfect it. Now I know what to do. I know what to expect. I'm putting those lessons into practice. I'm converting them to wisdom. And it gets you through the wilderness. So whoever you decide to build together, you guys need to make a commitment that when these two storms happen, we are in it together to fight through. That's what doing life together is about. So that's what I get within here.
Listen, so she didn't have to give you much because there's a whole lot she can give you, but we don't have a lot of time. But you have an assignment on your life right now, Black America, is to
Yes,
read
you
the Jewish phenomena, mastermind on the Jewish phenomena. Don't read
Mhm.
it. The second instruction she gave was don't do it alone. Share it with someone else. And let me tell you, by example, my team and I will figure out a way to support this.
Mhm.
And we talked last year and we even created the landing pitch and everything. We were going to do a mastermind around Think and Grow Rich. And what we
Mhm.
were going to do so that my time doesn't get sucked up and, you know what I'm saying, not one person showing up every day and convening the conversation. We were just going to have people take turns that read it. Leaders who are already invested and got some principles out of the book, whatever their favorite chapter is. You come in, you do it tonight. It's one time a week and we go through the chapters. I
Love that.
believe I'm feeling the call for this book, but I'm going to read it first.
Yes.
And I believe I'm going to reach out to you and see where you want to, if you, because I joined this guy a couple years ago. My partner and I joined this guy. His name is Gordon, and he did this multi something. He talks about wealth creation through real estate, and he
Mhm.
created a whole movement about it. And you're a movement. I mean, obviously, you are a movement, and this is not my space, but I know that this podcast is a catalyst for conversations across generation, cultures, borders, race, gender, creed, whatever, so that God's word will get to people when they need it the most.
That's
Might not be
right.
the whole episode. It could just be 10 minutes, 1 minute, one line that brings transformation. This is why I get up and I put into the podcast, because we charge for things. You charge for your services. I charge for mine, but collectively we are making a deposit of paying it forward to
Right.
people to get a bite size that I call it a transformational bite size of
Mhm.
what we are able to do, so that people who can't pay for it now, and key words I said, who cannot pay for our services now, because if you think you perpetually cannot pay for it, then you're not getting it. You're not getting it.
Right.
Listen to some other episodes, but you can't pay for it now. Read the book, get somebody else to read it with you. That's it.
Absolutely.
LaVaisha.
You hit that nail on the nose.
Flip the script is one of my favorite parts of the podcast, but I'm by now I'm probably tricking myself because I just love the podcast. I
Mhm.
want to do flip the script with you, where you share with us moment, and you, well, I think I want to make it specifically for you, this one. Was there a moment in your own journey where you had to flip the script, either with your personal or professional life, around money, leadership, and legacy? If you can share that with us, what did that look like? What was the story? How you changed your mindset and how it turned out?
In order to adopt the mindset that I have today, I'm here as a financial professional and planner by divine intervention, divine
Ooh,
redirection. I was in
mm,
college to go to medical school. Had no
mm,
internship. I had no intention on financial services. That's not where my eyes were. It was any of that. But there was two flip the scripts that happened. Number one, my husband was the entrepreneur guy. He was the one who got bit by the bug. And he was very early, he was able to paint me a vision
wow.
that I was able to buy into about where we were going to go as a family. Before we even had children, we
Yes.
were young, we were college students, we got married very young. And in support of him and his entrepreneur journey, I just was being helpful.
Submission,
Yeah,
leadership,
because first of
submission.
all, he wanted to start a
Check,
business while we
check.
were broke students. Like, why did you want to do that? So that was all the help he could get. So when making that decision exposed me to entrepreneurship and the struggles that came with that, where I had to flip the script, where we had to learn about cash flow and balance sheets and managing separating the business and personal finances. So where the script was flipped was, we can't be the only business owner struggling with this. Let me try to show
Yeah.
other people. But because God had this same calling on my life that you've even shared, today, that you are witnessing, then
Yes.
we got another one. My brother was a victim of violence, and we lost my only brother. And the most devastating part about it was watching my mother lose her only son, but had to go right back to work because she couldn't afford to grieve.
That'll do something to you. Yes.
I think seeing my family in dire devastation, because not only could my mother not do it individually, my brother didn't have his affairs in order. We're all standing there collectively and couldn't do it. Couldn't
Mm,
bury him properly. Didn't know how he was gonna take it. All of that, I had to flip the script. Like, okay, so now I have to step up and be the family CEO. And it was from that point forward, God gave me the vision. Not only do I need to help my family, I have to help others. There are a lot
yeah.
of families through this. There's a lot of families that need that, and I need you to do it. And as much as I was questioning it, like me, like there is nothing, the journey when the qualifications aren't traditional, but you've been qualified by God,
Come on.
it's a different journey. I'm the only Black woman in here. God, I'm the
Yeah.
only
All the
I'm
time.
having these
I'm
conversations and people don't
tired.
want.
Can I just get some comfort here? You feel like you're
Yeah. Well,
you're being
yeah.
punished for it.
Talking about family wealth and family business for 5 years. But now, because it's more accepted that we get to have it now, but before the door was getting closed in my face. Black people
Yeah.
don't do that. They don't want to know about that. They don't care about that. That's not a problem for them. They're not going to listen. All of these things and having to take
Right.
that flip the script twice to get in line with God's will for my life and not reject it. So I have flipped the script twice in my life, and then I have 4 daughters, so I'm waiting on the next script to flip because it's coming.
Oh my goodness. You look like a daughter yourself. I love it. Man, they don't play when they say what they said. Listen, you look, I'm giving you so many years younger than what you, I'm like 4 now. She's been around for a minute. You look
Thank you.
like you're just barely 29 or something.
Thank you, Lord. I'll take that.
I mean, I've seen your videos. I'm looking at you right now. You look even younger than your videos. I'm like, how old is she really? And then you keep flipping the script in my head, trying to gauge, okay, she been married early. Okay, now you got 4 kids. Girl, nah, I'm not even going to try to figure out your age. I'm giving up. That's it. I'm not even
and
figuring out
listen,
a year, a number. Like it's not 30s, I don't know.
we just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna roll
Bingo.
with it and appreciate it. But no, it is the same. I wouldn't even try to guess. You look good either way.
Thank you so much. Now, everybody know I'm rocking 45. I'm grateful. Every now and then my body tells me when I need to go to bed early. I need to go night earlier than usual.
Body don't
God
never
is
lie.
good, and I got this body right here is going to go for 100 plus and keep turning stones up and making transformation
No, that's right.
happen for generations to come. That's the legacy there too, and that legacy has to be funded by money and wealth creation. I have to
Absolutely.
ask you, what does success mean to you today, LaVaisha? Not just financially, but generationally.
Yeah, so generationally, success for me is family. As long as my
Mm.
family stays together, as
Mm.
long as my
Whew.
children call me your adults, as
Wow.
long as like we are sound in our family unit, that's what and I fulfill what God has told me I'm supposed to do. That's what success looks like to me. The rest,
Yes. My goodness. Wow. Before we wrap, I give you 90 seconds to speak to the people as if it was your last time to speak to them. The question I have for you is, what is the shift every listener must take if they want to stop earning money today and start building wealth for generations? I'll step away from the microphone and the camera, and it's all yours, LaVaisha. Here we go.
so for everyone listening today, here is what I want you to know. You are not just mom and dad. You are not just a sibling or a child of your parents. You are the family CEO. You are the founder, the co-founder of the family business. And the family business is in the business of growing in value. And we do not all have to work in the same business. We just need to be in the business of working together. So I encourage you as the family CEO to become it mentally, physically, spiritually, and know that abundance is your birthright. And once you take on the role of the family CEO, it will come to you.
So fire. You are the family CEO. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this conversation went back so fast. Where can we connect with you, and how do we take the next step forward to building with you at the virtual family office?
Absolutely. So, number one, there is, you could definitely join our community. You go to mywealthandlegacy.com, where you can download the free ebook on how becoming the family CEO and the tools you need to do that. I will also supply you, Dr. Alyssa, with a link for those who want to take it a step further, who understand that they are in income ranges that is the first in their family and want to take that next step and have the
Yes.
conversation about the virtual family office.
Yes. All of it will be in the description wherever you all are listening or watching to this episode. And I really ask you to share it with someone else, and also reach out to LaVaisha. You can just shoot her a DM. Eventually she'll read it and let her know you heard her here on Mindset Mastery Moments. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me land this for us. Wealth is not accidental. It's a legacy. It's not emotional. And leadership is not optional. You got to be the boss today. Like, the real boss and up is not how flashy fly you are on social media. It's that mindset that helps you step into building wealth for generations to come as the CEO of your family. If you're earning income without structure, you're not building wealth, you're funding complexity. This conversation was about thinking differently, leading boldly, and stepping fully into the role as your family CEO. LaVaisha, thank you so much for bringing clarity, strategy, truth to this conversation. And to our listeners, keep mastering your mindset. Think, speak, do become. If this episode shifted you, do me a big favor, everyone. Like, share, and send it to someone. We're building this for generations to come. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.